Oh, hi there. We of the Squid Research Lab have returned to present our latest findings. So, buckle up and keep your tentacles inside the vehicle at all times.
Oh, that's right. You may be wondering about the Squid Research Lab. Well, we research squids in a lab, and other things too. It's been 2 years since that fateful day when the Inkling squid species hooked me with its amazing abilities. To shoot ink in humanoid form and to swim through ink in squid form.
Hey everyone, Pufuu here, and as you all know, the entirety of Splatoon Twitter is foaming up for a new trailer to drop, but more specifically, that Splatoon 3 Direct that everyone keeps hyping up. Now, yes, we'll probably get one in late July/early August, but you won't have to wait long since I'm gonna leak it right now. Unless you're living under a rock, the Splatoon 3 Direct is slated for June 22nd at 7 AM Pacific and 10 AM Eastern, the same day the Xenoblade 3 Direct premiered. If you weren't aware of this Direct's existence, and I don't know what to tell you, but maybe you just took a really long nap. Because we got info on new modes, changes, idols, story mode, and character reveals. Alrighty, let's get to it. Up first, new ranked battle UI. This one's for Splat zones, and there's been a couple of adjustments made. Ranked battles are treated much differently in the Splatlands. In fact, they're way more chaotic. Now when you play Splat zones, there isn't just one centralized zone anymore, but instead you have multiple zones spanning across the stage for a total of 3. One in the middle, and one near each team's base. Yeah, you know, to keep up with that whole 3 theming the game's got going on. Hey, take a look up here. The UI indicates which team is currently in possession of the zones. You'll notice Team Yellow has 3 zones currently claimed so far. That means that their counter goes down at a much faster rate, almost doubled. But say they only have 2 zones claimed, then their counter would only go down at half its rate. Basically, by having 3 zones, you incentivize the offensive team to continue their push deeper into the enemy side, while also making comebacks more manageable for the team in danger. Sure, this change to Splat zones is kind of a big deal, but there's something much bigger. Kraken's back! But not only that, Cthulhu is here too! You know, the Octoling equivalent. Functions the same as S1, but you're not totally invincible and have HP, and ooh, a new sub too! It's jar-shaped? Must be filled with ink, I presume. Okay, moving on. Off the Hook is back! Again! During Off the Hook's world tour, it seems Marina formed a temporary act featuring well-renowned Octarian artists. The group is dubbed Midnight October and houses members Warby from Despair acting as the band's mixer, Paul from Sashimori providing his sampled human backup vocals, and of course Marina providing lead vocals for the group. Unfortunately, Pearl isn't present in this collab, but she does make an appearance in a separate act titled Sunrise Squids. But we'll have to cover that another day. Midnight October's music consists of strange ticking clock samples and orchestrated instruments. Sorry, what is that? Oh, it just came to my attention that the group is actually called Moist Sheets featuring Marina. Must be some sort of localization error. Alrighty, moving on to the next concept. Hey, a first look at single-player gameplay. In Return of the Mammalians, you're assigned different missions to complete in order to rebuild Alterna's rocket shuttle. Along the way, you might find several rare collectibles, like the Professor Notes. These are sunken scroll alternatives providing insight on Splatoon's lore, but more specifically, the geographic area of the Splatlands and how it came to be. The next set of collectibles are Alterna files, which are resembled by this floppy disk icon. These are VHS-style videos that shed light on what Alterna was and what it did prior to the abandonment of the organization. These are one of the more harder collectibles to find. Now onto the mission at hand. In this specific level, the new Agent 3 is assigned to shave all 20 furry Octarians. A much harder task compared to girl power station, since you have to painstakingly shave each and every Octarian while they fled in horror by the sight of your razor. But that's not quite as bad as the Squid sisters yelling at you for each and every wrong move you make. Even Kelly agrees that Splatoon 3 is a f***ing stupid game. Alright, on to our next concept. Real quick, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do weekly uploads. Okay, back to it. Salmon Run actually receives new content, an overhaul of new additions to debunk all those Nintendo stating Splatoon 3 was just a Splatoon 2.5. Alrighty, so let's go over the newly added modes first. So you got Freelance, your classic Salmon Run experience. Then you got Overfishing, an endless mode with an endless onslaught, and finally, Operation SOS, a mode that focuses more on defending the basket rather than collecting all those eggs. We'll go into the nitty-gritty of these modes a little later on, but here are some of the other major changes coming to Salmon Run. That's right, newly added ranks. Professional 400 might have been the peak, but there's a special elite rank titled Expert. So similar to rank X, there's a certain threshold that all players must meet in order to maintain their rank. But unlike the 2000 XP that is required by the end of the month, Expert requires you to complete an 800 golden egg quota before the season ends. Seasons last about 2 to 2.5 months, so there's plenty of time to eradicate an entire species of their children. The rewards are big though, so by meeting 800 golden eggs, you can obtain an exclusive gear set from that season and a boat ton of coins too. Pun intended. So why so many coins, you ask? Well, that's to pay your apartment's rent, of course. Yeah, that's right. In Splatoon 3, the Inklings have to do bills now. Okay, moving on. Basic stuff like the stages and weapon pools are located back where they have always been. No changes there, except now there might be shifts where you can use unlimited specials. So have fun destroying all the salmonids with unlimited princess cannons. Okay, so back to those modes I mentioned earlier. Overfishing, as the name suggests, is all about being greedy and being the least sustainable squids you can be. In this mode, you and 3 others will essentially play several sets of shifts that continually get harder. Unlike the typical game that requires you to meet quota by the end of each wave, you instead try to meet a set amount at the end of every 3 waves. After you completed one set of shifts, you're given the option to either clock out or continue on. By clocking out, you keep all the rewards you earned thus far. But by continuing on, you have the opportunity to double your earnings. But if your team gets wiped out, then you face losing half of your rewards. To help out with the increasing difficulty of every wave, there's a special upgrade terminal located right by the basket. You can choose to give up a portion of your rewards in exchange for special add-ons that can help you complete a wave. For example, you can request a specific weapon, obtain armor, spawn in special weapon cans, or activate the turrets on the helicopter for backup. Okay, so that's a brief look at overfishing, but what about Operation SOS? Well, it's a newly added mode for Salmon Run that spices up the main objective. So rather than worrying about how many eggs you need to collect, this mode has you fend off the salmonids from stealing your eggs. Basically, the basket in the middle of the map is given a health bar now, kinda like the orbs in Octo expansion. Bosses will act slightly differently in this mode, with some prioritizing the basket and others exclusively coming after the player. Anyways, anyone who solely wants to beat up the salmonids in this mode can. New shopkeepers! Say hello to Gel Flopzo, a mid-character if you ask me, cause where's this f***you t-shirt? Unfortunately, this concept was made way back prior to the Splatoon 3 release date trailer, so yeah, it would have been a Man-O-War instead of him, but hey, I think funny Twitter sea creature is a better choice anyway. Gel Flopzo works and owns Free Flow Fitters. It's where all the drips at. I take that back, never mind. Well, we've reached the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed that, Splatoon 3 leak, direct concept video? I don't really know what to call this, but don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I usually post vids every Monday, or at least I try to. I also stream every Friday night on Twitch, so check me out there. I'm a pretty silly, goofy, funny guy, I think. Well, until next time, Pufuu, offline. Oh, okay. Bye.